So you want to be a white ally, huh? Well, don't worry, Vice has 100 well thought out and non-contradictory tips to help you achieve racial consciousness. Never try to tell a person of color what is or isn't racist. In fact, don't even try to tell a person of color about something racist. Share articles relating to the experiences of race and racism written by people of color, but again, don't share those articles with us. Avoid phrases like, "But I have a black friend, I can't be racist." You know that's BS as well as we do. Yeah, every member of the KKK has a black friend. Even Hitler's childhood best friend was black, for crying out loud. Doesn't mean jack. Refuse to go to club nights or events that use culturally appropriative acts. If you're unsure that it's appropriation, just defer to someone from that background. But also, don't assume that a person of color knows everything, or necessarily anything, about their country or heritage. If you see a person of color walking on the street, don't assume that they cannot speak English. That's really offensive. But also, don't assume that they can speak English. That's offensive. Don't even think about saying the N-word, even if you're alone, even if you're listening to rap, even if you're alone and listening to rap. Big Brother sees all. But please keep spending your money on songs that you can't sing along to, though. Remember that your queerness, womanhood, transness, class background, disability doesn't exclude you from white privilege. Understand that nothing in your life has been untouched by your whiteness. Everything you have would have been harder to come by if you had not been born white. But I swear to God, when you endlessly complain about how terrible white people are, you are being that terrible white person. Jeez. Don't question someone's blackness if they're light-skinned. It's not your place. We'll call out their privilege. Harassing black people because of their skin color should be done by other black people. Person of color and colored are not the same. Yes, they effectively mean the exact same thing, but they're like different. Look around your workplace. Are the only people of color cleaners or assistants? What can you do to change that? You could insist that they fire those cleaners of color and give those jobs to white cleaners. Remember that not all people of color are straight. Nobody thinks otherwise, Vice? Who is that even for? People can be black, and gay, and disabled, and trans, and middle class. Blackness is expansive. Keep this in mind when you're washing the dishes or taking a shit. Think about race, even when there are no people of color around, and do so every single day of the year. But also, don't be that person who's obsessed with showing how woke they are to people of color. Don't assume that all people of color share the same views. We are not a monolith. But I think I speak for all of us when I say, literally no person of color wants you to show off your tan. Don't have dreadlocks if you're not black, and we'll all laugh at you if you make jokes trying to be down. Think of us as human beings first. We're not the same, and you can't use our skin color as a shorthand for what we have to offer. And move past your white guilt. Guilt is an unproductive emotion. Don't sit there mired in woe. Just be better. Refuse to speak on an all-white panel, regardless of the topic. One of the things that gets left out of the conversation when we talk about systemic oppression in the United States is often the taxing emotional impact and burden of having your memes that are specifically for your race only get rinsed and appropriated by white people. And it just really lets you know that you're in a country that doesn't care about black people when the memes get rinsed. So I'm sorry, I can't do it.
This is digital blackface.
Understand that America has what it has because it stole land from indigenous people and stole people from Africa. And thus, the privilege that you have as a white person is only made possible by the land appropriation, slaughter, and forced migration of people of color. Okay, but if we're talking about the beneficiaries of colonial superpowers and success that would have never existed without the suffering of tens of millions of people, then doesn't that also apply to these people? And those people? And him, and her, and him, her, and anyone else who's either formed or profited off of the unique American black culture that literally would have never existed without said suffering? There's a certain irony in how many activists will fawn over some of the most famous black faces in the world while missing no opportunity to snipe at the very countries that these stars and their perspectives, albeit regrettably, couldn't exist without. From blues to rock and jazz to hip-hop, the dehumanizing atrocities within colonial history created the culture and aesthetic these stars are profiting from and the mass market they're doing it in. Can you really be anti-colonialism but pro-Biggie Smalls or pro-anything else in American hip-hop and Western Black culture whose art was directly fostered by those struggles? Don't assume that you are capable of understanding the experience of racism. You can't. And just because you can't see racism around you doesn't mean it's not happening. Don't you dare question a person of color if they deem something racist. It doesn't matter if you have black friends. I don't care if you have a black baby. I don't care if you have a black partner. Trust and believe that you can still be a racist. Now you shut up and let me tell you who you are. Yeah, so one of the problems with this worldview, and it's a big one, is that it's unfalsifiable. Racism is effectively this devil that lurks about like a lion seeking to devour. As such, it's a label that can be thrown onto anything, anyone, at any time, regardless of their history, their politics, anything that they've done in their past. Because it's unfalsifiable, it cannot really be challenged or questioned. It's not how it works, it's not how it's supposed to work. You hate other people because of their skin color, and you didn't even know that you did. I had a ball reading this list from Vice. If you have an article or video that you'd like me to take a look at, leave a comment and I will investigate and see if it's just as hilarious potential. It'd be awesome if you could share this video anywhere where you think people might appreciate seeing this kind of stuff, having the piss taken out of it, so to speak, to borrow a UK expression. I think I have a unique perspective on these kind of things. As for my regular subscribers who might be a bit confused and shocked to see me back and doing something so different, well, if the past few years weren't any indication for you, I don't have much interest in doing Sims content, fortunately, perhaps. My real passions, things that most excite me today, are history, economics, politics, and of course I can intersect that with entertainment topics that not only might be more interesting to you, but the algorithm as well, hopefully. That's all. So great to see you all again. Have a good one. Bye.